Peace everyone, Unmask here, and welcome back to the Drawing Journal. Alright, so hopefully everybody had a lovely weekend, though my weekend was good. Had some fun with my wife. We played a little bit of badminton this weekend. Got caught in the rain too. We tried out this new vegan restaurant that we've kind of been putting off for quite a long time. We were a little bit disappointed in it, but I'll get into more of that later. Today I am just going to be working on this bear drawing again. I worked on it last week, I think, also. Can't quite remember. But I'm doing some final details before I call it done. There's still quite a bit of work left. But I worked on the eyes a little bit, added some more brightness to the highlights, also the nose, and I've been working on the fur a little bit here and there, but aside from working on other projects, I haven't quite got this drawing here complete, so I thought that I would do that today and hopefully be done with it, because I'm tired of looking at it halfway finished. So I'm just going to be adding some gray here to the fur to desaturate it. I'll be using some paint thinner to blend it out. So if you have any questions about it, feel free to ask. If you want to see the full version and the full tutorial that led up to where this bear is at right now, that is like probably 3 hours, close to 3 hour tutorial over on Patreon. I cover the background, the fur, a bunch of different techniques. So if you're interested in that, head over to my Patreon page and you can check that out. I have a lot of tutorials over there. So, as you probably recognized from the title of this live stream, that I was recently on the Colored Pencil podcast, and it is available today to listen to, and it was so much fun to be a part of, and it was a huge honor. I was super excited to be a guest on the podcast, and it was so much fun just hanging out and talking with Lisa and John, because I've been a huge fan for years. And to get like to the level of to be considered a colored pencil artist of statute that would bring me to the opportunity of being on the podcast, it's kind of surreal feeling. I never really expected to get to that level, so it was really, really cool. Hello Vilas and Coffee Cat, thanks for coming by the live stream. I really appreciate it. I was just talking about the podcast a little bit and talking about how fun it was and how exciting it was to be on it. But the podcast is available. Like I said, you can listen to it. I think that you can find it on iTunes. That's not how I listen to them, though. I go to the Sharpened Artist website. That's where I listen to them. I don't know how to find podcasts on iTunes, though it's probably pretty simple. I've never done it before. But I have the link in the description, so if you want to listen to it. And our podcast was a little bit longer, which than some of the previous ones that I've listened to. Usually they're about a half hour, 40 minutes or so. But ours was pretty close to an hour. I think it was about 55 minutes. So it was a little bit longer than the usual ones, which I think is good. I actually listened to it. That was the first thing that I did this morning. I listened to the podcast this morning, and it really came out great. Sounds good. I was a little worried that my microphone wasn't going to record very good. I was kind of anxious about the audio quality that I was going to be able to supply them for the podcast, but it came out sounding really good, and I appreciate the way that they edited it. I think that it was very fun to listen to, even though I was listening to myself, which sometimes can feel a little strange, but it was very enjoyable, and I enjoyed listening to it. And yeah, I was smiling the whole time because I was just kind of it was kind of just surreal to be a part of it. And for me, it's probably a bigger deal for me than it is for most people, but it just felt really good to be a part of. So yeah, that's kind of my emotions about being a part of the podcast. And I really appreciate everybody that was that kind of pressured them or asked if they were going to have me on the podcast, or just simply said that they would love for me to be on the podcast. Because I mean, I don't know if I would have just got on the podcast if it weren't for everybody that was trying to get me on there. So I appreciate your desire for me to be on the podcast. It was so great. And I kind of talk about the feeling of gratitude that I often feel from all of you lovely people that support my artwork and support my channel and everything. Like, just yeah, it was a good podcast, so I can't recommend it enough. Let me see. I got a few more people in here. Hello, Tracy, Anastasia, Courtney. Yes, I look forward to you listening to it as well. I don't know how long I'll be live streaming today. I gotta do a little bit of grocery shopping later, so I'm not quite sure how long I'll be live streaming today. But fortunately, everybody has a really great podcast to listen to. Again, the link is in the description if you want to check it out after today's live stream. And I definitely encourage you to share it. I think that we covered a lot of really good information to just get people into colored pencils, to motivate artists to create. We talked a little bit about marketing, being a professional artist, because it almost, it's hard to believe that I've been doing art professionally for let's see, it's still July, so 10 months. I've only been doing art professionally for 10 months, and it's going pretty well, and I'm able to continue to do it. So I set myself up to do it just for a year. Like, I was just going to do it for a year to see how things went, just kind of testing the waters. But here I am 10 months later, and I'm ready. I'm ready to do this for a whole nother year, and hopefully by the end of this year, I'll just be saying, this is my career. I'm just going to continue to do this. So I have a long way to go. I still have a long way to go to really say that this is going to be my kind of lifelong career. But the way it's been going the past 10 months, if I can just continue the momentum and continue inspiring a lot of lovely people, then I think that art can finally be my final career choice for the next decade or next 2 decades. Because if there's one thing that you should know about me, it's that I don't intend to work past the age of 40. Once I get to 40, I want to be done. I want to set myself up to not have to work past the age of 40. But I think creating videos and making artwork and drawing and painting and stuff like that, I think that's always going to be something I do. So I feel like since there's so much freedom to just create and make videos on YouTube, I think that's something I'll probably do for the rest of my life. So I'll always generate some kind of income with things like that. But as far as like considering it a full-time job like it is now, I want to be done with that by 40. Like that's my true goal. I've always had the dream to just not have to work by the time I'm 40, because I think that comes from a lot from my my dad. Like my dad, he's like 67, 68 now, and he has worked his entire life since he was like 11 years old, and I don't want that. I don't want that. He did it so that I didn't have to do it as much, and so I'm gonna try to live a simpler life, I guess. A less worked life. It's kind of my goal. But yeah, we talk about marketing, being a professional artist, how I was able to do it, and gosh, there was so many great things that we talked about. I felt like we could have just talked for 6 hours straight. It was so much fun. I was actually kind of disappointed that it ended because I was having so much fun talking to the John and Lisa. But yeah, we hopefully in the future we'll get a chance to do another podcast together. I think that would be something really, really cool to do again. Maybe cover different subjects, different questions, anything like that, I suppose. It would be really cool to do a live one. I know that they did a live stream version of the podcast over on Lisa's channel. Oh gosh, it would be so cool to do a live stream with them and just answer everybody's questions and talk about all kinds of fun stuff. That'd be totally rad. But yeah. What else did I mentioned a few things starting out. Let me check the comments real quick. I know it's been a while since I checked the comments. Hello, Vinayak, Artista, Abigail. Thank you, Coffee Cat. I'm also very glad that I'm able to continue doing artwork and creating and making videos for everybody. Thank you, Artista. I'm glad you enjoy what I create. You've been a very loyal subscriber for a long time, so I appreciate that. I feel like I've seen Drawing Art Lab comments for as far back as I can kind of remember. True, Abigail. Yeah, when you do things that you really enjoy, it doesn't quite feel like work. Although there are times where you really gotta, to be a professional at anything you do, even if it's something that you love, there's times where you really have to, step it up and do things that feel a lot like work. Commissions, that's kind of the reason I stay away from doing commissioned artwork, because to me that makes art immediately feel like a job. So I never wanted to rely on commissioned work or selling originals or anything like that to rely on as far as income, because doing that would make art feel like work to me. But being able to just come on, do a live stream, plan some tutorials and draw stuff, whatever I do, I try to keep it away from selling originals and doing commissioned work, because that makes it feel like work too much to me. But yeah, even doing the weekly tutorials that I do over on Patreon doesn't really feel all that much like work. I know I kind of have to make sure that I plan them and all that stuff that I do, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really feel all that much like work. So it's really great. Yeah, I agree. Like I agree. Artists, like people that spend, 90 hours a week trying to make as much money as possible, and then they never get out to just enjoy their life or whatever. That's that's something that I see way too often, and I see that a lot with friends and family that they spend their free time planning, how to make more money, or they spend their time just working and working and working and trying to get to some mythical place in their life that lets them just enjoy their life. When I've found that in order to enjoy your life, you just have to put your focus on what makes you happy. And when it comes to like making money, I've been honest on my channel from the very beginning, and the truth is I don't make a lot of money right now. That's the honest truth, but I'm happy as can be. I don't have the money to like, for instance, I don't have the money to fly back to the United States to see my family, which I really miss. Like, I miss my family a lot, and the truth is I don't really have enough money to just fly back whenever I want to see them. Hopefully in the future I'll be able to make that adjustment a little bit more comfortably financially, but where I'm at right now, I'm comfortable financially. I don't have a lot of bills. I have zero debt. I mean, I have zero debt, so I never have to worry about payments on anything. I don't own a car, so I don't have to worry about insurance or repairs or gasoline or anything like that. I make necessary sacrifices to convenience, to save money on everything. I mean, if you want a few, this live stream is just going way different than what I anticipated. But if you want a few of my tips to save money, and this is things that I've done for the longest time. The number one way to save money, I don't care where you're at in life. It does not matter where you're at in life. The number one way to save money is to learn to cook. Period. Learn to cook, you will save money. It will blow your mind. Because people want to enjoy food a lot, and what they end up having to do is go to a restaurant and say you like pizza. I love pizza, to be honest with you, but say you want just good pizza, and you order it from just a fast food pizza place like Domino's or Papa John's or whatever else there is, and say you get like a large pizza for like $25, okay, which is absurd. That is an absurd price for a pizza, $25. I would never pay $25 for a pizza. But you say you want pizza, and you don't want like not even the frozen pizzas are worth the money you spend on it. Like $10, $15 for like a decent tasting frozen pizza that you can throw in your oven, and it's pretty good, but they're always small. So learn how to make pizza. You know how easy it is to make pizza dough? It costs like a quarter. It's like 25 cents to make, 3 large pizzas. It's ridiculously easy to make pizza dough. It takes no effort whatsoever. You throw some flour in a bowl, you mix up your yeast and warm water with a little bit of sugar, and then You wait for your yeast to activate, add it to the flour, add a little bit of oil. I like to season my dough, so I put like oregano in my flour, um, and maybe some pepper or something, or garlic powder. That's another one that I like to add to my pizza dough. Um, and you can make a ton of dough for like $1. You could feed a family of five with $1's worth of pizza dough, if you buy the ingredients from the store rather than, you know, getting it at a restaurant. And does it take a long time to make? You know, the time that you wait for your pizzas to come from whatever place you order them from is the same amount of time it would take for you to make your lay out your pizzas, to make the dough, to wait for it to rise or not wait for it to rise. Sometimes I don't wait for my dough to rise if I'm really hungry or something like that. Um, but goodness gracious, you could make 5 to 6 pizzas for the same price as a frozen pizza, and you could make 20 pizzas for the same price that you're buying the mediocre pizzas from whatever place you order pizza from. So yeah, that's like my number one tip. Save money, learn to cook. It's just that easy. Um, and the best part is people find, and if you're single, you know, people find it attractive if you're able to cook. So that's just one more attribute to add to your relationship resume if you're single, is that you know how to cook. What else? So I don't know why we're talking about saving money, but yeah, that number one is definitely learn to cook. Number two is probably a little bit harder for a lot of people, because it requires quite a bit of discipline. Number two is stop drinking anything. Only drink water. Like, drink water. You don't need to drink anything else. If you go to Starbucks, I know that's a popular place. I've probably gotten things from Starbucks like 3 times, and I think once was tea, only because I was like cold or I just needed tea. Actually, no, I remember it was in London. We stopped at Starbucks. We had to use the restroom, but I felt bad just walking in, using the restroom, and leaving, so I got like tea. But yeah, other than that, I almost never buy things to drink. I just drink water. So that's number two. Stop drinking unnecessary things. Drink water. Sorry, I got a lot of comments about loving pizza. Hold on a second. Let me try to catch up. Depending on your toppings, pizza costs about $1.25 to $2.50. Yeah, totally. Yeah. As far as toppings for pizza, I'm simple when it comes to my pizzas. I make my marinara sauce. You can buy a base like tomato sauce, just like, you know, canned to plain tomato sauce, canned tomatoes. And then I also like to add chopped tomatoes to the sauce. You know, throw some spices in there, oregano, parsley, thyme, salt, pepper, whatever. But I like bell peppers, I like mushrooms, I like onion, I like jalapenos, and spinach. Since I'm vegan, I don't usually have cheese on my pizza unless I go out and buy vegan cheese. But vegan cheese is immediately expensive. It's like, you know, it's way too much. Vegan cheese is just too expensive most of the time. So I would say like 90% of the time I'm not eating my pizzas with cheese. Spinach though. I love spinach on my pizza. I just pile spinach on my pizza. And I always make a ton of sauce. Like I make just a ton of pizza sauce if I have any intention of making pizza, because you can buy a huge bag of noodles, cook noodles, use your pizza sauce for spaghetti or macaroni or whatever. So yeah, you have a whole lot of freedom there. And then also, what you can do with your extra pizza sauce is you can go to the bakery section of your grocery store and buy French breads or baguettes and just cut them in half and make French bread pizza. Like, it's that easy. And the French breads and the baguettes are like, you're looking to spend like at most like $2. Like, it's not that much. They're usually really cheap. So that's an alternative. If you don't want to do pizza dough, you can always do French breads, or you can do bagels. You can buy bagels and make bagel pizzas. That's another option. Coffee Cat, you don't have an oven or a fridge? That's crazy. I don't. Yeah. I mean, if you buy more, sometimes it is cheaper. So a fridge is very helpful. Oh yeah. So bringing up soda or pop wherever you live in the United States. Uh, Living in Ohio, we call it pop. West Coast and stuff, they usually use soda. Um, but yeah, I haven't drank soda. God, I don't even remember. It's been like 15 years. It's been a ridiculously long time since I've had soda. At least a decade. It's been well over a decade since I've had soda. Um, that's just because soda is the poison of the earth. Like, that stuff is just, not only is it terrible for you, but it's terrible for the environment because it uses so much of our fresh water. And it just, yeah, it turns fresh water into poison and then rots your teeth and gives you diabetes. So the fact that it's even still popular today baffles me. But at least cigarettes are a little less popular. I would rather people smoke cigarettes than drink soda, because at least then they wouldn't just be wasting water. What else? Not enough room. Japanese apartments are small, almost. Oh yeah. If you live in a Japanese apartment, then yeah, it's not shocking that you don't have an oven. Though not having a refrigerator, that's got to be a little uncommon, I think, even in the Japanese apartments. A small, teeny tiny little refrigerator. But yeah, and not having an oven, that's understandable. A stovetop, a burner, like one burner, even just two burners, that's fine. But yeah, not rice. That's definitely a stovetop thing. Rice is super cheap. But all kinds of different grains. I don't even know what we almost completely replaced rice with kasha. I don't know what the actual name is. I just know the Polish name. But yeah. So there's two ways to save a ton of money. Learn to cook and just drink water. I'm trying to think a third really easy way that takes like zero effort to save money, and this is to save money on electricity, is unplug your appliances when you don't use them. That's I can't tell you how much money that saves. Like, if you are done watching TV, then unplug the TV. If you're done using your computer, you shut it off and unplug it. It's just like a normal thing that we don't even think about anymore. Or I don't think about. I've been doing it for so long. It seems almost as normal as pushing the power button on my electronics or stuff. After I turn it off, I unplug it. Almost no thought goes into it at all at this point. And I remember that it saved like $3,000 or $4,000 a year or something like that when I first started doing it. Maybe not that much, but like $1,000. Kasha's buckwheat, yeah, okay, that sounds right. That buckwheat is so delicious. Oh my gosh, I love it so much more than rice. Hello, Chrissy. Glad that you could come to the live stream. We're talking about ways to save money, and then my number one reason being learning to cook. We've been talking about food, making everybody hungry right now. I'm pretty hungry. Let's see. I can't really think of anything else. I don't buy a lot of stuff, so I guess another really good way to save money is to stop spending it on unnecessary stuff, like phones. Stop spending so much money on phones. Oh my goodness, people, calm down with the phones already. That's one of my secrets on being productive. I think one of my biggest secrets of being productive is right here. This is my biggest secret to productivity. This phone does nothing. It doesn't do anything. It receives calls, and I can send text message to my wife, and that's it. No emails, no Facebook, no data plan. Seriously, this phone costs me, I don't know, like $3 or $4 a month. $3 or $4 a month for that. I don't have any people that are necessary to call that I can't communicate or find some other way to communicate with for free. Because if you're paying for internet, then you can communicate to people that way, for free. You don't have to call them. You can call them from your computer. So yeah, phones are another just terrible sinkhole of financial distress. I mean, some of the amounts of money that are spent monthly for like cell phone contracts and stuff like that, it baffles me why anybody would do it. It baffles me so much. Oh, thank you, Chrissy. I'm glad you enjoyed the podcast, since you had already listened to it. Hold on, let me see. What else did I miss here? Yeah, AC, air conditioning is not very popular here in Poland. It never gets hot enough. But yeah, like areas where it's hot, I can imagine that the electricity that an air conditioner uses it makes it quite expensive. I don't remember. Goodness, I don't think I've ever lived in a. Trying to think if I've ever lived in an apartment or a house that had air conditioning. I don't think that I've ever had air conditioning in my life. Uh, not that I can remember. Have I ever tried to fill a water brush with mineral spirits? No, actually, I've never heard of anybody trying that before. That actually sounds like a really really cool idea. I've been wanting to get some of those water brushes because I have watercolor pencils that I never ever use, and I've kind of wanted to break into them a little bit more recently, just because I hate that I spent so much money on them and I never use them. But yeah, that having the water brushes and trying, filling them up with mineral spirits instead of water, that actually sounds like a genius idea. But I've never thought of that before. That's a really good idea. That would save me the trouble of constantly having to dip my brush into the little container here. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the way the bear's coming out. Yeah, this bear has kind of been a little bit of a pain uh, past couple weeks because I for the Patreon tutorial I decided to go a bit larger than I normally do, um, and it's just taking a lot longer than I wanted it to take. So I look forward to it being done. Hopefully I can finish it today because like I said, I'm kind of tired of looking at it half finished. I'd like for it to just be finished. I think after I blend it out this time, um, I I might be able to say that I'm done blending and I won't have to play around with the brush anymore. I can just go through and add the final details with pencils. But I feel like it's just taken forever to get to this point. But I do like the way the colors are coming out. The reds that I added to the fur really stand off the page from the greens. So I like that. I think I got some good compliments in the colors of the fur. Oh yes, I gotta. Jeez. Speaking of ordering supplies, I need to order a gosh darn pencil sharpener. Mine is really. I've really taken my little pencil sharpener to the limit here. I've had it for way too long. It's probably just dull as can be. I mean, it's so dull at this point that it's actually it's breaking my polychromos pencils every now and again. Which to break the polychromos ones, you really need to be using a bad pencil sharpener because the pencils are much more dense since they're oil based. So yeah, I need to get on that pencil sharpener ordering real soon. Yeah, that's true about trying those water pencil brushes or whatever with the paint thinner because yeah, any of the glue or kind of whatever they use to hold the brush in after a certain amount of time of it being in there, it might actually just ruin the brush tip, kind of dissolve the glue holding it together. So that's something to consider. But I don't know how much those brushes even cost. I mean, if it's only a couple dollars, I don't have a problem testing it out. And if it gets ruined, then it gets ruined. But if it doesn't, then yeah, it's cool. You should put stuff like that on Amazon wishlist. Yeah, I don't use Amazon that much because the only Amazon there's Amazon Deutschland and there's Amazon UK, but I really hate paying the shipping. So I don't use Amazon that often. I only use it when I need to order something that I really, really can't find anywhere else. Um, like my camera here, this camera, I ordered that from Amazon, partly because it was, um, since it's a UK base, it works off of a different frame rate. This is 25 frames per second, whereas in the US they do 24, 30, and 60. And then here in Europe, they use 25 and 50. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of weird stuff with cameras. So, um, do they have Prime? I don't know if they have the Prime in the UK. Uh, in the UK Amazon, I I think that they do, but one of the issues is that the UK Amazon only ships like to the UK, like does the Prime shipping. I always have to pay like some kind of weird shipping from Amazon since I'm in Poland. They even though it's still Europe, they it's considered like the international, and they only do like they only offer like the 1 day and the Prime shipping for the UK residents. Like the free shipping doesn't work for Poland, unfortunately. So I lose a lot of the benefits for that kind of stuff living here. Maybe I don't know. I sort of kind of considered the possibility of moving to the UK because when I first met Anna, she kind of had a dream of moving to the UK. We know some people over there. She was going to stay there and find a job and then work over there. But yeah, it just never worked out. And I considered the possibility of moving to the UK, but it's a bit too expensive right now. So, hello, Cece. Uh, Glad to see you in one of my live streams finally. I see you finally navigated your way successfully to the live stream chat this time. Hello, Raf. Steven, good morning. Glad you could make it. Anyways, what else was I talking about? Goodness, we just been all over the place today. Real quick, since we have a lot of people showing up, I want to mention that the Colored Pencil podcast link is in the description. So be sure to check that out after today's live stream. If you're working on something and you want something to listen to, I think the podcast is a really good choice. It went really, really well, and I definitely enjoyed it. So hopefully you will enjoy listening to that podcast. And be sure to share it too. Oh, gosh darn it! This pencil here broke, which is just great. Drives me nuts when that happens. Yeah, I'm just gonna add some whiskers here, if I can, before this pencil completely breaks. Yeah. Just gonna have to sharpen it again, I guess. What else? What else? What else do you guys want to talk about? I briefly mentioned it happened again. This is the worst polychromos pencil. This is the 103 polychromos. I can't believe it keeps breaking like this. I must have dropped this pencil, but I don't remember doing that. Because it just breaks over and over again. Try to put a little less pressure on it when I'm sharpening it. Any tips on weathered wood? So I assume, oh my goodness, again, what is going on? So I assume that you're not using pastels on weathered wood, but you're trying to draw weathered wood with pastels. Let me know if I'm correct in that assumption, while I figure out this pencil and if I can ever sharpen it. But let's assume that you're referring to drawing weathered wood with pastels. Wait, any tips? Okay, yeah, you're gonna have to clarify. Any tips on weathered wood with pastels? So I can't tell if you're drawing on weathered wood or okay, correct. All right, I'm good. So wood in general, whether you're using pastels or you're using colored pencils, or if you're using acrylic paint. Hold on a second. Kind of have something in my throat. I can't get it out. So regardless of what medium that you're working with, if you're doing wood, I have a tutorial. Real quick, I gotta plug my my Patreon page, but I have a tutorial on doing wood texture, and the technique that I always use when doing something like wood is what I call frequency separation. And I talked a little bit about this before, but it's the idea and the technique, the thought process, they're all kind of combined, of separating the colors from the texture. And what you want to do when creating wood grain or wood texture is, hold on a second, now I'm going to catch up with the chat. What kind of pastels am I using? Well, right now I'm not using pastels, I'm using colored pencils. So doing wood texture, you want to focus on, you want to remove the grain itself. So skip the grain in your mind, and when you look at it, try to find the colors. You're going to have some kind of yellow browns for the highlights, some darker, richer colors, maybe of brown, maybe a little bit of red, depending on the type of wood. If you're doing weathered wood, you're going to have kind of this sandy gray color, so a desaturated color. To create the weathered look, you're going to have to use a little bit of gray, most likely, to desaturate some of your colors. To get it to look weathered, you're going to want it to look a little bit older, and the colors aren't going to be as vibrant or saturated. So adding a bit of gray is going to help you there. But what you want to do is put down your colors first and ignore the texture. So you'll put down your grays and your browns and things like that. Get a nice soft gradient blend with all your colors. And then once you have your colors correct, go over top of it with your with your texture. So the parts of the wood that have the grain showing through, maybe it's like a really dark brown or even a black in some cases, then you'll draw in all that texture. And some of those cracks, those deeper cracks, are going to have highlights. So then you're going to take, your brighter highlight colors like this bright ivory color, something cream, or even white, and then add those little highlight pieces like that. So that's the way that I would approach wood, especially weathered wood in general. So hopefully that's helpful. But yeah, that's my tip for doing that. I can't see your full email address. Could you please say what it is? My full email address. My email address is theartist@unmaskart.com. Let me just put that in the chat for you. Hold on a second. Let me type that in. Now let me double check, make sure I got it right. The artist at Unmask. Yeah, there you go, Steve. It highlighted my own name. That's funny, but yeah, that's my email address. So feel free to email me. That goes for everybody. I love getting emails from people. So it's not like a private email or anything. I don't get too many emails, to be honest with you. I don't feel like I get enough emails. Hopefully that okay, Artista. Hopefully that tip helps you get through that post. You're welcome, Steve. All right, so I'm just adding some like final little texture highlights and things. Let's see, what time is it? Oh goodness gracious! I'm gonna have to jump off the live stream here fairly soon. But it was super fun. Yeah, you should all just email me, say hello. Send me some artwork that you're working on. Yeah, this bear is just about done. I don't really see much else that I can do. I need to add the fur texture on the outside edge. Get rid of this kind of like weird fuzzy looking edge. Oh yay, it actually stayed sharpened. Give the outer line here some fur texture instead of this weird choppy look. Help him fit into the scene a bit more. And then almost finished with this drawing. I think I'll probably still kind of play around with it a little bit before calling it done. I don't know. Maybe just a little bit. I want to be satisfied with this drawing. I've spent enough time on this drawing that I think it deserves to have a satisfying ending. So I don't want to skip anything with it. I want to be satisfied with the final product. So I think I'll just maybe spend another day or two looking at it before just packing it up and putting it in a drawer. Since it's the first time I've ever drawn a bear, I want it to be the best bear that I can draw. Am I going to do any more product reviews? That depends on if anybody sends me products to do a review on. I don't really have the flexible income that would allow me to buy stuff just to review. Kind of wish I did. Maybe when I buy my pencil sharpener, I'll do a review on that. But yeah, I don't really have anything else planned for review. A while back ago, I was supposed to do another review of a drawing monitor, but by Oogie, the same brand that sent me the first one, but they just kind of ghosted on me. They don't respond to my emails or anything like that. So I was like, whatever. I'll just, go on living my life. But I, of course, got the, I got the Aliona's new book. She sent that to me for free. So I was happy to do a review of that book. And I was meaning to do a review or to send an email to Derwent to get a new set of their colored pencils to see if they'd like me to do a review, because I would love to do a review of those pencils, just to have a good review of colored pencils that it just fits so well to my channel. I hate to not I'd love to have that kind of opportunity. So I still need to email them. I think if anybody has their email address or something like that, send it to me on Facebook or email it to me, better yet, something along those lines. And if you know their contact information, like who I would even email, I don't even know who I'd email in a situation like that. So I would like to do something like that, but I don't have a lot of people reaching out to me to do reviews, but I think they should be. I think I do pretty good with reviews. I like doing them. So I feel like I should have more people reaching out to me to do product reviews, but I just don't have that many. And reviews are really good for my channel because that a lot of people have subscribed to my channels just because they came across like a review. So great way to expand my audience and stuff like that. Anyways, I have to wrap this up. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Remember, check out the Color Pencil podcast. The link is in the description. Hopefully you enjoyed the live stream. Hopefully you like the bear drawing. I'll finish this up, I don't know, probably in the next couple days. I'm going to try to do another live stream Wednesday. I'd really like to do another live stream, maybe a pastel or an acrylic paint. I might paint something. I would like to paint something. I haven't painted for a while, so hopefully I'll paint some stuff this Wednesday for a live stream. I think that would be kind of fun. I don't have a whole lot going on this week. Tomorrow I am uploading a video, but I forget what it is. Oh, it's cat and bird. So, like a month and a half ago or something, I drew a cat and a bird and never uploaded the time lapse of it. I'm going to upload the time lapse, and hopefully Thursday I'm going to have like narrated tutorial like I used to do back in the day. So narrated tutorial on the difference of drawing fur and feather. I think that'd be kind of cool. And it's the tutorial that I've had planned for a while. The full-length tutorial, of course, is over on Patreon already. It's been on there for like 2 months or something ridiculous. But I will see you guys next Monday for sure. I'll see you. And hopefully I'll see you this Wednesday. But other than that, thanks for watching. Remember, check out the Color Pencil podcast, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Peace.